So it's 4 o'clock. You must know what time it is. It's time to hear something good. And today I got a treat for you guys. My friend Detroit Bruce, I know him for a very long time. He's going to share tons of great stuff. He's up to some really cool stuff. He works for Dan Gilbert, who you've heard me talk about before at Quicken Loans. He is the Detroit ambassador, and you probably don't know what that is, but when you're done hearing, you're going to want to go visit my friend Bruce. So Detroit Bruce, thank you for sharing. Please tell us something good.
Well, first of all, something good is being on your show, okay? So thanks for having me, Steve. I really appreciate that. And your shirt is really, I mean, it's pretty good, okay? But I just want to say, if right off the bat, to tell you something good, I just want to say I'm really proud of our state and our city for the resilience that we've had. We were hit really hard with COVID-19, but our businesses and our community, they abided by the guidelines, they wore their masks, they social distanced, and we really led the way to be a stronger Detroit. And we've, really come back. We're from, one of the cities with the highest to a level now that is tremendously better. And now the restaurants are opening up, so the outdoor activities are opening up, and that's really nice to see because face it, this stay-at-home thing is really hard. Yeah,
it does get cramped. Florida, opposite to you, we had it under management, let it go, and we're experiencing the highest numbers we've ever had. So kudos to you and what you do. Obviously, the organization that you work for has tons of exposure. They own tons of buildings. Dan is a very philanthropic guy. So why don't you speak to some of what's gone on with the Bedrock and the companies that you're working with?
Well, if you don't know Dan Gilbert or Quicken Loans, look it up. First of all, I've been with the company for over 26 years. I've done many different things. And I guess I'm technically self-appointed Detroit ambassador. And what that means is I show people around and really get to, showcase our city to visitors. And, people have a perception of our city, then there's reality. And Dan Gilbert took a chance a little over 10 years ago and moved our entire organization from the suburbs to downtown because he knew that the brain drain was leaving our city, and how are we going to keep the young people? And that's by being in the urban core. So we moved our 3,500 team members to the downtown core. At the time, I'll say there was a skyscraper sale. So we bought a building or two. We started growing, and now our team is over 17,000 just here downtown in Detroit.
Wow.
So we've not only filled these empty buildings and restored them, and Dan has invested over $5 billion in our city. We've brought a lot of businesses in town, restaurants, retail, very much tied into the neighborhood organizations and doing tons in the community. And now people want to know what's happening in Detroit. The word is out. So I'll say I'm sort of like the front door. When people come to visit, first of all, we have over 100 companies under we'll call it the Dan umbrella. So they come to visit for business opportunities. And when they do, first we do this sort of curated, specialized tour to show them what's happening in our city, because you can
I've been on it. I've been on that tour. It was incredible.
And depending on who's coming, depends on how we set the tour up, because we want to show them what is most needed for them. And it's usually like a 2-hour walking tour through the city. By the way, it gets cold up here in the winter, hot in the summer, but we do it, rain or shine, snow or sun, it doesn't matter. And I get to sort of showcase this to people from all over the world. Last year, we toured over 16,000 people.
So you're very humble. I know that in general, but when you say you get to tour people. There's I've been in your office, brother, man. You have been introduced, or you've introduced Detroit to some of the most popular names on the planet.
I would say there have been some very popular names, and I'm grateful and humbled by just being able to be in this role and be able to show some of the most amazing people from everywhere. And just to kind of give you an idea of, like, first of all, we tour everybody, okay? So we tour every single 6th grade Detroit public school student in the entire city to, let's say, Warren Buffett, Madonna. Actually, more recently, interesting enough, I had Quavo in Detroit because we had the Forbes 30 Under 30 in Detroit. And if you don't know Quavo, look him up. He's part of Amigos. And Quavo and I became very good friends. In fact, my whole thing is build relationships and not just, show people what we're doing, but how can we do stuff together and build a bond that lasts, for a lifetime, we'll say.
And you're really, really, really good at that. I mean, I know when I came to do business in Detroit, I hadn't seen your sister in forever. I hadn't seen you. And I just felt warm. You made me feel like one of the family. Being in the lobby of Dan's main building with the baskets and, shooting baskets and the replica of the Quicken Arena, it's really quite breathtaking. So you've done a lot of great stuff there. But I know on a personal level, you're very philanthropic. You are somebody that does lots of good things. So why don't you give us an update on what's happening sort of with you personally in the role? Because obviously the tours are not happening.
No, we have been since early March, no tours. So I had to kind of reinvent myself. But regardless of that, and by the way, subtle plug, if you follow me at Detroit Bruce on all platforms, you'll see some of the things that I do. But I'm really engaged in the community. I'm really proud of our community, especially, during this, we'll call it civil unrest that has happened in our country. And our community leaders and our business leaders and our political leaders have all come together, and it's been so peaceful, and I'm so proud of that. Personally, I mean, I like to know everybody. So I want to know the community leaders. I want to know the nonprofits. I want to know the people in the neighborhoods that need the most help. In fact, I have a really good friend. His name is Tony Harrison, and Tony is a professional boxer. In fact, he won the super middleweight championship of the world. Okay. So he's from Detroit. And I met Tony because he came in on a tour, and then I'm like, this guy is just pure fire, because boxing is his thing. But he bought this building, and I would say it's in one of the hardest hit areas of our city. And he went into that area on purpose because he wanted to help the kids in most need. So he takes this building that was filled with debris, and he took about a third of it and he opened a gym. It's free, of course. It's not only a gym, it's a community center. It's a place where kids can get tutored and learn. And I just fell in love with Tony as a person. Then I really got involved in what he's doing at the gym. He is a nonprofit, and the 2/3 of his building are still, I'm not going to say a wreck, but they need a lot of work. So we're working on getting a grant for his gym right now, because once the rest of his gym is done, then he could take his capacity from 50 kids to 150 kids. And that makes a huge difference for the neighborhood, for the community. And then, I'm going to tell you, it's called Super Bad Boxing Gym. He will have the super baddest gym, period, for sure in Michigan, like at the highest level in Metro Detroit, if not around the world, because not only does he teach, the kids, of course, how to be athletic and how to, work out, but at the same time, like how to, get through life and learn skills and be good in school. And he mentors them and it's just a beautiful thing.
It wasn't, you mentioned about what people's perception of Detroit is or was before coming there, and I hadn't been there in forever. My perception was pretty poor, and then landed there, had dinner with your sister, met you the following morning. We went on the tour. I was exposed to so much that changed, that the cleanup was amazing. You talk about owning 100 buildings downtown, a massive undertaking. And it was a very vibrant city with great people. And the way it was explained to me, and I sort of want you to elaborate on this, is that people were leaving Detroit to go other places to work. So the real push was to hold the talent and say, don't leave, we'll give you a place to stay. And that's really worked out well.
Yeah, actually, that's what we call the brain drain, right? And when we realized like all these young folks, especially like from our universities, are leaving to go to, California, to the Bay Area, to DC, to New York, we're like, what are we going to do to keep them here? It's funny because University of Michigan talent is one of the highest recruited kids in the Silicon Valley. So they're all leaving to go out to the Bay Area. And our thing is, all right, well, if we're going to keep these brains here, then we need to be in an urban core. We need to be high tech. We need to be cutting edge. So that's when we made our move to downtown. And not only, do we, own all these buildings, but we restore them back to like, these buildings had no elevators, no plumbing, no electric. And now the historic preservation that's been done is amazing. So when we bring people in and we recruit, they're looking around like, wow, I get to work here. And the culture is what drives it all. And not only are we keeping the brains here in Detroit, we're having a lot of people actually coming back that we call homecoming, that had moved away and now are saying, I want to come back home. And with all these companies and all the opportunities here in our city, we have pretty much a job for everybody.
I love that. And one of the reasons why I did this show was to have people just like you who are doing great stuff, just to expose it to a bigger audience. There are options that are happening out there. So I know that in spite of all that you already do, you have that entrepreneurial bug and you just can't help yourself by starting and getting into new businesses. So why don't you share some sheets with us, man?
Yes. Well, actually, I won't call it a business. I'll go back to this is a philanthropic thing. But my friend, I will say this is something good for sure. Okay. My friend, Doug Schwartz, no relationship. He owns a company called Trip Wipes. And Trip Wipes is we'll call it an antibacterial wipe. And he launched these about 2.5 years ago. And basically, when you get in a plane, you know how you wipe your chair down and you want to disinfect it all, or even the gas pump. I mean, who thinks about how dirty the gas pump is? So he's a great brander. He's a great marketer. Go to Trip Wipes, check it out. So he created these and he's done really well. Then when COVID came and he wasn't jumping on the bandwagon, this was already a brand for him. All of a sudden, everybody wanted. He got the airport stores, he got Urban Outfitters, he got Kith, and now his shop with his little warehouse, it's like to the top with boxes. So then he said to me, interesting enough, he said, I want to do something good. And I said, what's that? And he told me, and he said, but I want you to collab with me. And what it was these. We call these shower sheets. So you can see it's a collab with Detroit Bruce and Trip Wipes. And these shower sheets are like a triple version of Trip Wipes. But the idea behind this is we are giving 100,000 of these to homeless people. So we're going through different organizations to distribute them. And when you open this up, well, I'll open it up for you right now. It's big enough for a homeless person to literally use to wipe down their face, their body, their hands. It's a towelette that's sanitized. cleansed and deodorized. And this is big enough to wash a whole body. Okay. So we partnered with, well, we didn't partner with, we're donating to NSO, National Neighborhood Service Organization, with the PATH program, and also the Empowerment Plan, which is an incredible organization. They make these coats. They're like winter coats for the homeless. And then when you unfold them, they turn into a sleeping bag so that the homeless have a place to, it's incredible. So 15,000 are going into the pockets of these coats, and we're going to be distributing these. We're getting ready. Actually, today I was at his place, but we're getting ready to distribute these shower sheets very soon to 100,000 homeless people. You know, and some might be out of state because you know, we got a lot of them.
It's fascinating to me that in the midst of all of the negative news that goes around, still people are doing good. And again, my motivation was so that people can hear that you can do something, you can still make a difference. And clearly that's your motivation. So in our last couple of minutes, how would you want to wrap up, and how can people help you do what you're doing? I mean, I love what's going on in Detroit. Give us some parting thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, well, I have this philosophy, and it's part of our culture that we call isms. And if you type in Quicken Loans isms, you'll see that there's 19 beliefs that we use to create this culture. And when you have 30,000 team members in your family, 18,000 in Detroit, how do you keep everyone on the same page? You do it through your culture. And one of my favorite isms is when you do good, you'll do well. So the whole point is, don't chase money. Just do all the good things, and the money will figure itself out. So we're really, I'm really focused on just figuring out, like, how can I help people? What can we do? How can we support? And that's a trickle down, because when you do that, then people gravitate toward you. And if there's, anything that someone can do for me is, like, come to Detroit, check it out, hit me up. And, I'll do my best to show you around. Right now we're not touring, but I can easily social distance, like, send you places. And our city is amazing. In fact, we have this brand called Shinola. And for those who don't know, it's now a watch company. Right. And the Shinola Hotel just reopened. I mean, I know, like, there's some beautiful resorts around the world, but this is one of the most beautiful boutique hotels I've ever seen in the world. So come to Detroit.
Their factory is one of the cleanest I've ever seen in my life. When you took us there and they were putting together bikes and handbags and all this stuff, you could have eaten off the floor. It was spectacular.
I want to, it's funny you say that, because I know you're not, it might be hard to believe, but this just happened today, for real. I was out and I saw a guy I know. Okay, this is him. All right, he goes, "Bruce, what's up?" And I know him, right? And a little bit of glare there. So he goes, "I just got the cleaning for Shinola." He's cleaning, like, all their facilities.
Wow.
So, and he goes, "Shinola knows that Black Lives Matter." Okay.
Oh,
and I mean, enough said. Okay. Honestly, like, our town is amazing. It's about the people, and everyone should come. I know Detroit doesn't sound like it's, like, the sexy place to go, but I'll tell you, it's safe. It's beautiful. There's a lot of history and tons to do. So come to Detroit.
Listen to my friend John Sally, man. He loves it, man. He's a Detroit Piston for life.
Oh, yes, he is, for sure. We love him here.
Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for sharing and doing so much good. You are a rock star. I can't wait till to come and see you, and whatever whatever you need from us, you got.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate you having me on the show, and peace to everybody, and safe. And by the way, wear a mask.
I love it, man. You're the best.
See you later.